passed on either to the consumer. Often lower income people are who patronize these locations. And, they operate on extremely tight profit margins. So these, the labor unions want to make this about big corporations and sticking it to, the golden arches. That is not who's going to pay this tab. This tab is going to be borne by the small business owner franchisee and the consumer in California. And that's, the thing that is weighing on, our messaging going into the governor's office right now, calling on him to veto this bill.
No indication what he's going to do. He's been studying it, but we do know that hourly pay has, on average, out there gone up to $15, north of that for many such establishments. A move like this could bring it up to $22. Now you're talking something that gets pretty pricey.
What's going to happen when the average American family has to pay $20 a meal at McDonald's? Well, as someone who is part of an average American family, I'll tell you right now, you're going to stop eating out. You're going to stop eating out at McDonald's. You're going to stop taking your kids to McDonald's. You're going to stop going to McDonald's unless it is truly solely out of convenience and it's worth that big cost. Because as of right now, I can tell you this right now, I can get meals made and delivered to me, not frozen, just put inside my icebox once a week for like $12 each. That's more convenient than going to a McDonald's. It's probably a little better for you too. And I think more people are going to do just that because this is not sustainable, but it's what we may be looking at. California is looking at that right now. So what do you do in your family when it becomes $20? I apologize for this terrible video here, but it is, of course, what it is.
California now preparing for fast food prices to go up. Susan Hirosuna explains how this could impact people's decision to dine out.
My workers, we did this!
A victory celebration in September when Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers like Anisha Williams. Chipotle has this sign now promising $16.25 an hour. That's over the current state minimum wage. But in April, when the hourly wage goes to $20 an hour, companies like McDonald's and Chipotle foresee menu price increases.
No, I don't think there's any question about it, but this is the fault of the people who vote for these things. If they didn't want this, then they shouldn't have voted for it. And if they have to raise the prices in order to pay for it, so be it. That is the cost, obviously, of doing business. And if this is what the cost of doing business is there, so be it. Like I said, they voted for this. You get what you ask for, okay? And now you're going to be paying $20 for a Big Mac.
Even before that happens, customers are feeling the pinch.
We used to get stuff for $1. The cheeseburgers that we got used to be $1, and now the meal was like $10.
Nobody wants to pay like $20 a meal for just a single person.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you feel like that's where it's headed?
Yeah, so then the family of four is going to spend how much, $80 on eating out? Yeah.
Not doable.
Realistically not doable.
Not only is it not doable for a McDonald's, but you can take your kid somewhere else and pay significantly less. I can take my kid to Dave & Buster's for less than $20 a head, and that includes games and a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is something that is just not sustainable. And I managed at McDonald's at one point in my life. I can tell you about labor costs and how they have to keep labor under a certain amount and how they cut people here and there when labor gets over a certain amount. And sometimes how store managers will come in and work extra hours because they're not going to be billed against that particular labor cost hour. This is going to throw all of that off. The future here, it's not female, it's not black transgender females, it's none of that. The future is a robot that does all of this stuff.
Kayla Glickman is among those who will skip the fast food if prices get much higher.
It's usually like $15 or more to get lunch, I feel like. So, yeah, I can't afford that. So every day.
Although everyone we talk to admits you're paying for speed and convenience.
For now, I mean, it really has to go up tremendously in order for me to stop coming here.
And that was Susan Hirosuna reporting. Now, fast food restaurants raised prices 13% last year. Experts say that could increase when the new minimum wage goes into effect.
I mean, obviously, it is going to increase when the new minimum wage goes into effect. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's how it's going to work. They're going to have to do that if you're raising the minimum wage $4 an hour, because what they're going to do is they're going to raise everyone's wage $4 an hour. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to just say this again. I love McDonald's. I loved working there. I learned a lot there. I benefited greatly from working there. But I will not take my kid to a fast food restaurant where we're charging $15 a meal. I can get that at a sit-down restaurant. Especially with him, I can go to restaurants in my town where I can eat and he eat for free. That's what I'd be more likely to do. But again, you're paying for the convenience. But when does that cost become too much? Well, at this particular price, it would be $18 already for a Big Mac meal in Connecticut. Talks like this here in California. Right now, the meal I usually get by myself at McDonald's is about $12. Again, if it goes much higher than that, what's the point? Unless you're just eating it because you think it tastes good and it's your convenience, sure. But there comes a benefit of cost there. Now, again, this is what I do. I have meals delivered to my house that I eat, and they're less than $15 a pop. I think you'll see an explosion of that side of the business because this is going to become unsustainable. People are not going to go out to eat and pay $20 a meal for their kid. And when I was growing up, back in my day, extra meals were $2.99. Now they're well over $10 where I live. Like I said, $18 in Connecticut and elsewhere. Inflation's obviously playing a role here. Is it corporate greed? Maybe. That could play a role here as well. But the real question is, how much of this are you going to put up with? And I know what's going to happen in the comments. Oh, people still eat McDonald's. Yes, people still eat McDonald's. People eat a lot of McDonald's. And at the end of the day, maybe this will be better for everyone because it'll force people to be a little more healthy. But what's more likely is they'll find cheaper food that's even worse for them, and that's probably not going to work out well for anyone.